The Philadelphia hotel bar was dimly lit, a haven of muted sounds and polished surfaces. Philip arrived promptly at 7:30 p.m. to the place, the long conference schedule weighing on him. He flagged down the bartender, a friendly guy with a neatly trimmed beard, and ordered a scotch neat. "Long day at the conference?" the bartender asked, wiping down the already spotless counter. "You could say that," Philip replied, taking a grateful sip. "Addiction conference. A bit intense." "Came to the right place then," the bartender chuckled, a genuine sound. "Welcome to Philly. I'm William, by the way. Been here about 2 years." They chatted easily. William was a Philadelphia native, full of local pride, bemoaning James Harden's departure from the Sixers after only 1 season. Philip learned this was usually a crowded spot on a Saturday night, but the early hour kept it deceptively empty. "Expecting anyone?" William asked, a hint of amusement in his voice. "Yeah, an old friend," Philip said. "From childhood, actually." William's eyebrows rose slightly, a knowing smile playing on his lips. "Well, good luck then," Philip chuckled. "It's not what you think. Agnes and I go way back." 15 minutes later, Agnes swept into the bar, a lively splash of color against the muted backdrop. Her dark hair, dyed a striking shade of red, caught the light as she scanned the room. Seeing Philip, she strode towards him, a confident energy radiating from her. "Sorry I'm late," she said, giving him a quick hug. "Philadelphia traffic. The taxi was stuck." "No problem," Philip said, genuinely glad to see her. It had been almost a year since they'd met here during his last trip. "He is William." William, all smiles, gave a nod. "Welcome, ma'am. What can I get for you?" "Pint of whatever's on tap," Agnes said, pulling up a stool. "And another scotch for my friend here." Once their drinks were settled, they moved to a small table tucked away in a corner. Agnes was a striking woman, her features sharp and intelligent, a subtle masculinity hinting at a strength that Philip had always admired. "So, addiction conference," Agnes said, taking a long pull from her next beer. "Must be fascinating stuff." They talked about their jobs, catching up on the minutiae of their lives. Then, Philip steered the conversation towards his research. He told her about the antidote he was working on, a potential cure for cocaine. Agnes listened intently, her expression a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. "But how come they haven't invented anything yet for it? Is that even possible now with your resources?" Philip's eyes gleamed with a fervent vivacity. "I think so. Remember that biochemistry class in college? Professor Conrad." Agnes laughed. "Vaguely. He was a character, that's for sure." "He planted a seed," Philip explained, leaning forward. During a lecture on addiction, he suggested that all addictions might have a common root, a way to switch them off in the brain. "It's been haunting me ever since." Agnes frowned, searching her memory. "I don't recall that specific lecture. It was a long time ago, Phil. We were sophomores? But how do you plan to do it?" Agnes asked. "All sounds good in theory, but this isn't a classroom now?" "I've been studying, experimenting," Philip said, his voice laced with excitement. "I have a home lab set up in my apartment. I've been working with mice, and I think I'm close. Maybe there is something in rosemary that could be working." Agnes's expression turned serious. "Mice aren't people, Phil. Even if you do find something that works in mice, who would agree to test it on humans? That kind of experimentation would be ethically questionable, to say the least." I know, Philip conceded, running a hand through his hair. "That's why." He hesitated, then met her gaze. "I'm going to test it on myself." Agnes almost choked on her beer. Setting the glass down with a thud, she stared at him, her eyes wide with disbelief. "Are you serious? Are you out of your mind?" "I have to, Agnes," Philip insisted, his voice low and urgent. "There's Julia." "Julia," Agnes repeated, the name heavy with implication. "This is about her, isn't it? You're doing this for some woman. No matter how much you love her, Destroying yourself is not an option. You're a doctor, for crying out loud. I need to be ready, Philip continued, his voice unwavering. I'm afraid she is quickly developing a physical addiction, and I want to be ready with the antidote. Philip, you don't use drugs, Agnes exclaimed. You're not an addict. What about your career? How are you supposed to help these people as an addict yourself? I'm documenting everything, Philip argued, his voice rising in pitch. I'm making videos, keeping journals. I'll remind myself why I'm doing this, that Julia is worth the risk. Agnes's face was tight with anger, the red in her hair seeming to deepen. Love has blinded you, Philip. No woman is worth this. What kind of addiction are you even planning to develop? And on what level? Cocaine, of course. Just the initial phase. Second level, Philip stated, the word hanging in the air like a toxic cloud. Before Agnes could retort, Philip's phone rang, the shrill tone cutting through the tense atmosphere. He glanced at the screen. It was Julia, calling precisely at 8 p.m. as she always did. He answered, his voice soft. Hey, beautiful. How was your day? Agnes, her face contorted with frustration and rising intoxication, blurted out, Don't do this, Phil. Philip winced, trying to calm her with a look. Just a sec, Julia. I'll be right with you. Who's that? Julia's voice was sharp, suspicion lacing her tone. Who are you with? And what are you not doing? Philip swallowed hard. It's just an old friend, Julia. I told you. Oh, it's okay, Philip, Julia snapped, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Don't tell me. Keep your secrets. I don't care. You're just like all the other men. I'll tell you, Philip pleaded, his voice strained. It's unnecessary, Julia retorted. Have a good time. And with that she hung up. Philip stared at the phone in disbelief, then frantically tried to call her back. The call went straight to voicemail. She'd turned off her phone. He downed the rest of his scotch in one gulp, the burning liquid doing little to soothe the turmoil inside him. I'm exhausted, he said to Agnes, his voice flat. I think I'm going to go up to my room. He walked Agnes to the taxi stand in front of the hotel. She turned to him. I'm glad we met, Philip, she said, hugging him tightly. Please think this through again. This experiment is insane. Promise me you'll think about it and that we will stay in touch. Philip managed a weak smile. He helped her into the taxi, promising he would consider her words. He watched the taxi disappear into the Philadelphia night. Turning back to the hotel, he muttered, That went well, Philip. 2 women mad at me in one night. Keep it up. Then, a sudden wave of loneliness washed over him. He thought of his younger sister, Maggie. Pulling out his phone, he typed a quick message. Hey sis, how are things? When can we catch up? The message sent. He walked back into the hotel, the weight of his choices pressing down on him.